All right, chat. So I watched the Odyssey. I think I watched it. When did I watch that bitch? Friday. I watched it Friday with powerful Christophs. Me and Christophs went to go in IMAX because we found out that there's an IMAX theater like really close last second. So we didn't even know we could even watch it on IMAX, but I guess we could have. We unfortunately could not watch it on IMAX. I'm watching it, probably watching it again tomorrow with my brother. Unfortunately, not in IMAX, but I'm already gonna confirm it. It's so good that I want to watch it again tomorrow, and then I want to watch it again on IMAX. That's 3 times. That's 9 hours of me watching this movie. The movie just came out. I think they grossed about $650 million. The movie was out for like, I think it's been out for almost a week now. Like a week and a half. And the first thing that me and Christoph said when we walked out of that theater was, wow. Nolan has, I think, single-handedly have changed how people are forever going to look at the Trojan War. Because I read the Odyssey when I was in high school. I think a lot of people have read the Odyssey or took a class on Odyssey. Chris didn't take, Christoph, Hispanic Kage did not read the Odyssey in school, but I did. And I remember reading the book and being like enamored by the fantasy and the Cyclops and how the sirens was cool. And I just thought the story was cool, but I never like really thought the way I felt about the Odyssey ever. Because in the book and the way Nolan portrays him in the movie is completely different. Odysseus in this is more, in Nolan's Odyssey is more, I would say, like, he's not an asshole. He's not a fucking asshole in Nolan's. In Nolan's, he's not much of a dick. He's more like he's pretty chill, like most of the time. Like, he's not doing as much bullshit as he really does in the original Odyssey. Like, he's really on bullshit. Like, if you read the book, like, he's more of like a dick in the Odyssey. And I like how I think Nolan had to do it that way, because unless you wouldn't really root for the character and the story that he really wanted to tell, you wouldn't root for Odysseus like you do at the end. You really pull for Odysseus. You don't even think of Matt Damon. And I know that for some of the casting, people are really worried because there's so many A-listers. But I won't lie, at the beginning of the film, like, I remember looking at Chris and be like, hey, it's Travis Scott. There's 2 Batmans in this movie. But towards the end of it, and they do show Travis again towards the end of the film. They show him again doing the same thing that he did at the beginning of the film, which is really cool. The storytelling in this is, I think Dune 3 is going to be fantastic. It's probably the movie I'm looking forward to the most. But, and Doom, I think Doom is going to be fucking fantastic. Like, Doom is going to be good too. But I don't think they're going to hit the level of storytelling that the Odyssey did, bro. Like, I'm getting literal chills, bro, talking about this movie. It is, let's just go over the shit that I had. At first, I was, like I said, was worried about the casting. I said, okay, too many A-listers. There's not, and Oppenheimer is the same way. There's a lot of A-listers in Oppenheimer, but I feel like there's a lot of people you discovered from Oppenheimer. Benny Safdie is one of them for me personally. Like, I discovered Benny from that movie, and he did fucking fantastic as I forgot the character's name that he played. I watched it like a week ago when I was in Florida and I took that long break. I watched Oppenheimer twice and then watched it again. Then I watched it again when I got back. It's just, that's how good Nolan is, man. Like I watched Oppenheimer in the theater 3 years ago, with Chris and Will, aka Soul. You guys know him. I've made music with him before. One of my best friends, and we made and we went to go see Oppenheimer. And this movie has like the same effect Oppenheimer did on me. I did not want to get out of my seat. There was a moment where Chris Chris told me, "Hey, bro, can you go get popcorn and some nachos for us?" And I was so reluctant to wanting to get up from like stop watching like the movie. Just like stopping to watch it. And I didn't want to, bro, because I really was invested in every moment the same way I was invested in the Odyssey. I think after a few minutes, like at first, the dialect is modern. It's not told in the fantasy of English, and that was a big discussion for some people. But most of the time, you just forget. You forget. These people become the character. These people become who they are, and who they are supposed to be casted as. I'm yapping, but who they're supposed to be casted as, they become that person. And the Elliot Page thing really had me too. Like the media got me with the Elliot Page. I normally never get got, but the Elliot Page thing did get me. Not that I have a problem with Elliot Page being in the movie. I just think it's wrong to portray a legendary figure of Achilles by Elliot Page, and that's my personal opinion. I don't have any problem, and I actually enjoyed the character Sonon. Probably one of my favorite arcs in the whole film was Sonon, and you completely forget, and you don't even care that she's trans. Like, you don't really even notice it. And I think the character and the way she's built and the way she looks is perfect for the character she played. The beginning of the film starts with Travis Scott like stomping on it, and he does the viral the viral meme that's probably everywhere, but with the man, all that shit. They start with that at the beginning, and like I said, me and Chris were like, "Hey, Travis Scott." and then they go into and then Anne Hathaway stops him. Anne Hathaway stops Travis from telling the story of the Trojan horse, and Tom Holland's character gets up. I think it's Metaleblius or whatever the fuck his name is. I keep forgetting all these characters' names. Their names are so like crazy that you're gonna forget them. But Tom Holland's character goes up and he talks to his mom, and they have a discussion about like the suitors and them trying to find any way to provoke him. And you see it throughout the film. They really are trying to provoke him to hitting them, because a lot of the big parts of this film is Zeus's law, and the suitors take advantage of Zeus's law. And she tells him, like, yeah, they'll all buy it here, but if you try to leave and go somewhere else, they will send people to try to kill you. And that is also another part, a really important part in the film that they really show, with, you know, him trying to find out things about his father. And people didn't like how Tom Holland's character didn't really win many fights. He always lost. And I think, not always lost, but he wasn't like this person that is Odysseus is. And I loved that about the film. Some people didn't. And at first I was like, man, this guy can't fucking win a fight. But after rethinking about the whole film, it makes sense, because he wants to be like his father so much. You know, he wants to take the responsibility that his father had and honor his father by being, you know, someone like him, and that's why he's always enamored by everything that people talk about his dad. Like, he always wants to know, like at the beginning of the movie, there's a person who comes in who is a beggar. I can't even say, get these beggars out of here. I said beggars. But there's a beggar that comes in, and Tom really, you know, abides by Zeus's law, and he takes him in, and the suitors don't want to have them take him in because they're like, what the fuck, why would you take this guy in? And then Tom is like, you guys are doing the exact same thing, you know, what's one more beggar? Which one more beggar? And then he's talking to this beggar, and then you hear, which is, I think is real. I didn't catch it at first, but when people retold me about that shit, when people are like, not people, yeah, people. When I was watching some others people's reviews, they were saying that was kind of Zeus like co-signing what Tom Holland's character said, like you never know if this person's Athena. And people are having speculations, which I think Nolan did it on purpose, where you don't know who's the gods or if they're a god or not. But I think that person that came into beggar was Athena, because she's the one, and that person's the one that really gets into Tom Holland's character, that he should go find out more away from this place and go talk to John Bernthal's character, who was in the Trojan horse with Odysseus. And then it cuts to Tom Holland's character going to training, and he's asking a blind guy, I forgot his name, who's a really important character, who's Odysseus's, I would say they're friends, because he says that he's a servant, but Odysseus doesn't really look at him like a servant. He looks at him as a friend. And we learned about the dog, which is a really important character in the story, because that dog is the dog that he finds exactly where Tom is training. And he finds out that his dad wanted that dog for a hunting dog, and then they show Odysseus going out there to hunt, and that he always warns his prey. And then he asks them, why does he do that? And it's like he tells them when he's coming. Pause. And then I think we cut to, I think that's the first time we start to see Odysseus, and he's having a conversation with Anne Hathaway's character, Penelope, and they're talking about the war. And I think that's when Tom Holland's character goes and tells her that she should just give up the throne and try to find, and she's like, no, I don't want any of these guys to be my husbands, but, and then he says, why shouldn't I take the throne? And a lot of that is like I was saying, is like him trying his hardest to live up to what his dad is, and he can't. He's just not what his father is. And a lot of people can relate to that kind of stuff. Like, you're not going to be who your father was. Your father could be a great man, and he could have done a lot of things in his life, but the point is for you to not live up to him, but to live up to your own name and live up to who you are. And they shoot to the Trojan. He goes to go see John Bernthal's character, and they go and they talk about, well, you want to know what happened in the Trojan horse? Well, let me tell you something. let me tell you something about Odysseus. And then he goes into talking about the Trojan horse and saying that he was in it. And this is the first time we really see Sonon get up, or was that the beginning? But no, I think it's that point. And then Sonon gets up, who's Elliot Page's character, and goes up to the horse and sees these Trojan guys coming, and he runs, sorry. I'm so sorry. He runs to go to the Trojan horse, and then they throw a bunch of spears at him, and they ask what is it, and he goes, it's a gift to Athena. And then you see Matt Damon inside the Trojan horse, and they're pulling up, and that shot, man, and I know it was all practical, which makes it even fucking better. is the fact that you're seeing these people like grab it and lift it, and then you see the shot of the guy sitting on the horse with the sword, and he's like rallying people up to grab the horse, and it's fucking the scope and in the shots. You can really see the IMAX camera really working in this film. Every shot is beautiful. The light, I love the lighting of Odysseus's house where the suitors are sitting and eating, and the lighting and the way it's, you know, these chairs, and it looks fucking amazing. Like the color balancing on the camera was just so perfect. It fit the time period so well. And Chris brought up a really cool point of the shot of you're seeing the Trojan horse, and it's bright and it's colorful, and you're seeing the sun, and you're seeing the ocean, and me and Chris are looking into this a little too much, but that's just like what Chris said. Shout out to AfroKage or Christoph. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. He was saying that, like, in a way, that was our understanding of the Trojan horse. We always thought of it as this mythical, cool thing that happened, and then when you start thinking into it, it's not that. It's the total fucking opposite. It's horrible. Well, we'll get into it. They're dragging the Trojan horse up, and I love the little detail of you see them all in there, and you see people drowning, and John Brothel's character talking about how it smelled of piss and shit, and he turns to Helen of Troy, and if you don't know, the reason why they went to war is because of Helen of Troy, and they well, that's what they said. And then the scene where Anne Hathaway and Matt Damon's together, Matt says, Odysseus says, it's not because of that. It's because of trade routes, and right there, it's already indication of breaking Zeus's law. Automatically, at that moment, it's like you're interfering with somebody's, getting their food. So it's like breaking Zeus's law in that way, which is fucking interesting, and the whole movie just kept the same tone it started with, which to me is sometimes big movies and movies in general, when it keeps going, they kind of lose what the purpose of the whole film was. And this always stuck to what the fuck the film was about. It's fucking the moment where they're bringing up the Trojan horse and they're stabbing inside the Trojan horse, and you see, somebody gets in. It's in the trailer. Somebody gets stabbed in the shoulder, and everybody's grabbing them and telling them to shut up. And it's this fucking tense. There's just this intensity of these soldiers. Like, you gotta put I love that Nolan tried to not glorify it. It's more like rugged. It's all these soldiers stacked up onto each other with piss and shit, and you get, and when John Brothel's character is describing the atmosphere of the Trojan horse, you could almost smell it. You can almost like feel yourself in that tight, crampy area, and if you move, you can blow this whole thing, and most of your best soldiers will die, and then there's people under you who are drowning, who are like putting peepholes and trying to breathe through like a tube, and they're dragging it up, and they sit it down there for a little bit, and they sit it there for a little, and then I guess I don't even know why I said I guess they leave it there, and then they explode out of it. They come out of it, very stealth-like, almost like fucking seals, and they fucking come out of the back, not the back, the front of it, and they just stab these guys, and then and it's this really intense, and you feel the atmosphere, because I love that there's not much lighting, but there is enough lighting to see the action. It almost feels real. It doesn't feel like there's too much lighting, and how the fuck do they not see these guys? It's this dark, but you can see it, and they're moving through it, and they're stabbing people, and then one of the Trojan soldiers gets fucking notices that they're going towards the gate, and they're lifting the gate, and they're getting shot at, and then you see Odysseus going to fucking town with this bow. Bro's hitting fucking trick shots like he's in fucking phase. I'm this bitch, boom, 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 and you can see Matt really dedicated himself to learn how to shoot that motherfucking bow, because he wasn't missing, big bro. He was hitting all his shots, and that's what you expect from a fucking character like Odysseus. You expect this guy to be so good at what the fuck he does that he don't miss. There's no reason for him to miss. He's that guy. And then you see John Berthal's character get into work, stabbing motherfuckers, lifting that shit up, and right when that shit lifts, bro, I love the dedication to how slow it lifted. Because once that motherfucker lifted, people, they just come exploding through. And then you see this fucking, I think this shot, and I love that Agamemnon did not do fucking nothing this whole film, but sit there or farm and warn Odysseus, and give Odysseus the biggest fucking warning probably out of everybody. When you pull up back to your crib, stay low, but we'll get to that. They explode through, you see the fucking soldiers, you see John Berthal, everybody's seen that shot in the trailer of them screaming, everybody explodes in, and then you really, you don't see the rest of that shot. They shoot to the end of it, the Trojan War, at the end of the battle, and you see, Odysseus with his men, and they're getting ready to leave, and everybody's leaving, and you see that shot of Odysseus kneeling, and you just feel the fucking the aura just oozing through this nigga Agamemnon, and like he didn't have to say nothing. He turned away his whole body and looked at bro, and he just they nodded, and then I love the way John Berthal's character kind of looks at him when he's walking by, with respect, but also like like, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but maybe he like sees the guilt that Odysseus has, like he can see it, like you kind of feel a little bad for it, don't you? In a way, that's maybe I read into that a little wrong, because you could tell John Berthal's character, I keep forgetting his name, and shit like that. He used to fucking use random ass names back then. Great fucking names. But where was I? Okay, they go on the trade routes, and they're going back home, and Odysseus says to I forgot his number one guy's name. Number one dude's name, I forgot his name. He's some fucking dude. He don't even look like he lifted. But you see them leaving, and then they're telling, okay, this is the, and then they go to leave, and the dude says, yo, why we not following? Like, Agamemnon chose the perfect route. Why don't we go the same way he goes? And he's like, nah, fuck that. Let's take the long way. But I forgot also to include, during the John Berthal's talking to Tom Holland during that moment, and he's telling him about what happened at Troy, and then I told you guys about the Helen part, which I love that they casted, forgot her name, girl from Black Panther, but I love that they casted her because and then he turns her face, and if you know the original story, they say they went to war for Helen. You know, she's the most beautiful girl in the world, and then when you see her, she has a scar on her face, which I thought was fucking cool, like, and that was symbolism for, like, yeah, you think we went to war for this beautiful face, and then John Berthal's character ends up scarring it, almost fucking completely giving 100% confirmation for what, you know, Odysseus told Anne Hathaway's character, like Penelope, is like, yeah, we're not going to war for a woman, we're going to war for these trade routes. And we're going back to Odysseus. Odysseus is leaving, and he tells the guy, hey bro, I don't want to go that way, I want to go my own way, I'm gonna go see some hoes, you know, I'm gonna go see some sirens, some cyclopses, you know, Circe and not Penelope, what's her fucking name, the white bitch name, I don't forget her name. But then yeah, they go to see the fucking Cyclops. Bro got one eye and shit, and they're like, damn. Then they go on the island, and they are working their way up. And I already know what time it was, you know, from already I've read the book. I already know what time it was. Like, damn, we're about to see Cyclops. we're about to see the Cyclops, and I'm like, damn, we're about to see the Cyclops. They're like, damn, we're about to see the Cyclops, and we finally, they go inside the, I already knew what time it was because I was like, damn, we're about to see the Cyclops. I was like, okay, bet. I'm locked in. Chris ain't never read the book, like I said. And that's why I think it was cool going with him, because it's like, damn, we both. I'm like, damn, we're about to see the Cyclops. Chris ain't never, like, he ain't never, like, read the book, so, like, it was cool for us both to kind of, like, you know, I'm experiencing this film, and then I kind of expected it to be, like, just similar to the book, but it wasn't, and I loved that it was, because it felt like a retelling in a different way. But then we see the motherfucking Cyclops, you know. They go inside that bitch and they're like, oh, there's cheese and shit. And I don't know how the fucking Cyclops makes cheese. I want that to be answered. How the fuck is that? I understand he has the sheep, but how the fuck is this motherfucker know how to make cheese? Like, I get it, like, bro probably speaks English. How the fuck does nigga know how to make cheese? That cheese, I was thinking about it, that cheese probably slapped. No bullshit. That cheese probably, like, was one of the best cheeses Odysseus ever tasted, because bro wanted it all. And I understand these motherfuckers were starving, but then they see a bunch of cattle coming back, and they see and this is the first shot of the Cyclops is so fucking sick. You know, he closes the shit. He hears some shit. He grabs two soldiers, eats them niggas like fucking snacks. And I'm still not sure to this day, because this is why I'm good that I'm rewatching it. I'm still not sure if he saw them, because he was eating them niggas and then staring, and he had like, it was so sick because you see like him eating, you know, bro. And bro arm come down and slip down his mouth. It's almost like when you eat like chicken and shit, or like any shit like that, like anything stick foods, you know, with a bone in it, and you got that chicken that come down your mouth. That what it look like. The bro arm was like that. You know, he left that for later. The arm, you know, a little snack for later. And you see it all, like you see the head, you see him bite the head, you see them bite, and the arm just slips down, and he just stares, and he kind of like looks, and he's chewing, and then he goes to sleep, and they're like, fuck, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And that moment turned into like a little bit of a scary movie, bro. because it was so tense. Like the air was so tense. You feel it in the characters and then the soldiers, and you gotta like put yourself like, damn, what if I was one of these niggas? I was in this bitch by myself. This motherfucking Odysseus telling me I gotta go to a fucking different route, and and I just saw bro get eaten by a Cyclops, bro. So they're like, damn. So they get everybody out. You know, they forge a plan to like put sheep fur on, and they get people out. And then Cyclops notices, he like grabs people, he starts like throwing them against the thing, and some of them get out, and then 4 or 5 other soldiers don't get out. And I love that Odysseus is like, he rides for his niggas, bro. He rides for his bros. If my bro over here about to die, I'm jumping back in that bitch and I'm getting bro out. I'm getting bro out. So then they rise a plan. Okay, we can blind bro, and then bro gonna open this shit. He gonna let the sheep out, and we gonna run right behind them. So that's what happens, right? They go and the fucking boom, it strikes the fucking Cyclops right in his eye. He starts fucking, and the scream you hear fills the fucking room. Like that shit shook the room, and you feel like that fucking scream. You almost feel like it's happening outside, or like it's happening right next to you. And it's such a disturbing, like crazy scream that you've literally have never heard before. And then the thing starts crying, and it's like calling out the sun. And at first you can't really like hear it, but then you hear like some English words, but some of it's like muffled with like a different kind of language. It was like English and another language, like a Cyclops language, probably like mixed into it, which I would have loved to see the other Cyclopses, which we never got to see. We only got to see the one. But then you like hear bro speaking like a crackhead. Bro's kneeling, and they're running, and the Cyclops like feels them, and he's like, oh shit, they're trying to get out. And they're running, and Odysseus shoots his fucking. He turns around, and the Cyclops spits out one of bro's mans that he just killed in that bitch, and you see the bro head come out, and it's like side of like the mask. This is like, bro, you can't do. You trying to rage bait me, bro? And he fell for the successful rage bait. Bro pulls back the bow, boom, right in his fucking face. And then everybody's like, why the fuck did you do that? Like, we could have just ran. Now bro know where we at. But you gotta understand, bro, he just killed his mans, and then he tried to like show like, yeah, bro, I killed your mans. Anybody else shooting back? I don't know why everybody's confused about that scene. If you saw your man's head, if somebody killed your man's and you saw his head, you ain't shooting back, bro? I'm shooting 2 times at this nigga. But then it's so funny that they turn around, they start running, and like the way they turn and start running is so funny. It's like a little bit comedic, the way like they turn and like start running down the field, and then you see like the Cyclops. The Cyclops design is so fucking cool. It's like, and I love that everything that was practical and it was real, because you kind of feel the realness of it. Like that's why for some people it looked weird, because of how real it was. Like there was no CG. Like it was completely real. Like the way it was moving was real. The way it was doing things was real, and that's why I felt like it was so real it felt fake in a way, which I loved about it. And you see them run in, they get on a boat, and then they leave. That was like I know all the parts with I remember all the Odysseus parts. The only parts I'm blanking on is like the little shit. So okay, so I'm not sure if I talked about this scene yet, but then they shoot to a scene where Agamemnon shows up, and dude that plays Batman, Robert Pattinson's character. I think Robert Pattinson did a fucking amazing job. His character had so many little fucking cool things. Like I was talking to Chris about with the moment that he gets a scar on his leg from hunting, and he warned the boar that he was coming. And it's cool that when he's going out to hunt, you see everybody like volunteering their arrows, and he's like and he takes sonons, and I really think that was a like symbolism, that he's gonna be the one, to come back and and I'm pretty sure it was a bow that he used, you know, and the same thing that he hands to him is the same thing he kills Robert Pattinson's character with, which is like, I don't know if that was purposely, but it almost felt like, okay, it was too like on the nose to deny. But he grabs the bow and he warns the boar, and the boar comes and cuts his leg. And I love the little thing about Robert Pattinson's character. I don't want to shoot too far to the end, but Robert Pattinson's character is when he's a kid in this moment, and he's the first person to turn around and run. Which also happens at the end of the film, where he sees Odysseus with the bow, and he turns around and runs to show how much of a fucking pussy nigga he is. Straight pussy, straight bitch. But that's the purpose of his character. So he did a fucking amazing job. So then we shoot to they're doing the draft, and so on. You know, Robert Pattinson's character gets picked, and Sonon agrees to take his spot, and Odysseus goes up to him and he talks to Sonon's dad, and he's like, you know, your son's trying to take his place, you know, I don't want him to. And then he's like, no, he wants that. And Odysseus knows what happened. Like, the guy got bribed. So he sold his son to war for a bribe, which probably happened during, you know, some of the wars in Vietnam War. But then you see that, you know, these kids were drafted at like 12 years old to go fight in Troy, and it's crazy to really think about. And shooting back to the Anne Hathaway with stuff with the Anne Hathaway, they have this conversation, like I said earlier. I'm jumping everywhere, so if it's not a lot of places, I am trying to get somewhere. but you know, they're talking about, you know, why don't we just run away? And he's like, no, like Agamemnon will come here and sacrifice our kid, you know, to Athena, just like he did with his daughter, which is a big plot device that comes later. So then Rob Pattinson's character hears that, you know, Tom Holland ran to go see, you know, John Berthal's character, and he sets a hit after him, and then that's probably like later in the film. I'm probably jumping a little too fast, but then we shoot back to Odysseus, and Odysseus, they need supplies, you know, they need them bad. So they go on this island, and they think this is where the giants come from. I thought it was fucking phenomenal, bro. Oh my god. But I don't understand why these fucking niggas, like, if you saw a kid that's the same height as you, bro, as soon as you walk toward, and you know you're in a mythical fucking world, right? Mythical world, and it's a child, and one of your mans say, yo, he's crying, and it's a child, and he's the same size as me, big bro. You wouldn't think these niggas are gonna about to pull up at 12 feet if the fucking kid is the same size as me? Who am I? I would have turned around and ran on Odysseus. I don't give a fuck. I'm taking off. I'm humming that bitch. Out of that motherfucker. I'm gone. You don't see fucking high stepping like Dion. I'm out that bitch. I'm going to the fucking boat. I'll meet you at the boat. If you ain't at the boat, I'm dipping on the boat. I don't give a fuck. Zeus got a problem with Odysseus. He don't got a problem with me. That's a lie. Shooting back to like the Cyclops, they get him back on the boat, and one of the characters goes, oh, that's Poseidon's son. Like, I heard him calling out to Poseidon. And then this is when we start seeing, you know, Odysseus thinking he can deny the gods, that he doesn't have to follow the gods, which is part of the book. He doesn't think he has to, you know, rely on the gods, because he views himself, you know, almost like a god in a way. Which they go on this island, and they see these giants come up, and they got fucking knight armor, and they look fucking sick, and they got, you know, which I think, you know, and I'll speak out how I feel about this moment, and maybe some people have a different interpretation, but I don't think that the people that they fought were really giants. I think this was how Odysseus saw it, in the way the story may have been told, because of, like, he saw people with armor that he couldn't penetrate, which he probably, the way people see this, you know, how they see them, is probably the same way that he saw these giants, and it's really in his head. And but when we see the giants that come out, they got these big ass fucking cleaver, no shield, bro. Fucking, bro, they're fucking stretch bigs, like fucking paint beast, straight fucking 12-foot paint beast, stretch bigs out the wazoo. Bro's got fucking no shield, coming out to just box, bro. Straight cleaver in hand, fucking sword the size of your body, bro. I don't know why these niggas fought. I understand they couldn't run because, and I really thought, at first I didn't catch it, but I thought it was really cool that the trees were turning inside and trapping the soldiers, and there's just this moment where the soldiers are running and and the trees trap them in, and they're just getting fucking stabbed and fucking brutalized, and Nolan doesn't shy away from any of the moments. You really just see these people just getting fucking just destroyed. And that funny goofy scene that I even laughed at, it was kind of funny, of when he goes, "Let's go," that's them running away from the giants, because even Odysseus is like, bro, this is fucked, we're not beating these guys, because he's over there trying to box with them, and he's like this fucking, the greatest, one of the greatest soldiers ever to live, and he's over there boxing. He can't even fucking beat this guy, and he's like, you know what, bro, let's dip. He's watching all his men just get fucking slaughtered, and he's like, you know what, bro, let's run. And they start running, and Indian guy, I forgot his name, he's probably not Indian, I forgot his name, he's Odysseus' second in command, and they're running, and the giants go and attack this boat, and they're just fucking cleaving at these 3 boats, and you're just watching, like, these people just get fucking bodied, bro. It's horrifying, and it gets worse because they're coming to run, and they're grabbing all the people, and Odysseus' man's coming, and Odysseus is that bow, which they're really trying to stretch how good Odysseus was with the bow, because every time he kills someone, it's always with his bow. And he shoots the giant right in the fucking head with the bow, and Odysseus is like second in command, almost gets fucking killed by this guy, and they shoot to your right, and you're just watching these people just get fucking cleavered, and there's people that are trying to get off and just run, and you see them just get fucking murdered, and then they shoot, and they're just all dead. On this beach, just everyone is dead. Like, you're watching, like, they shoot back, and you see like them laying on the beach. A lot of them that didn't even make it on the boats, and they're just laying there. And there's also this like shot of them, like before they shoot to the beach part, of like people just trying to run, and they're just getting fucking killed, and it's horrifying. It's like, picture yourself as one of these guys, bro. This is the worst day of their worst fucking day. They just got off Troy, and now they gotta fight fucking giants, and it's so fucked, and you just watch these people get murdered, and it's fucked up, and you're like, damn. And then what happens after that? They go to Circe. Pretty sure they go to, I think Circe's next, because then Hell, and then they do Sirens. So they go to Circe's island, and they see, they're telling Odysseus, fuck you, like, we're gonna do things our way because you keep leading us to fucking death. So you go find your food, we'll go find ours, and then we'll meet back on the boat. We're not gonna follow you anymore and keep fucking leading us to some bullshit. So they go find, and they are looking around, they see fucking lion. I already knew it was gonna be I knew it was, at first, I had a feeling it was gonna be Circe, but at first I was like, maybe it's something else, because I saw fucking lions, and I'm like, hold on. So something ain't right. And the way the lions are looking at it, the lions are not even trying to attack them as what lions would do. And they're just looking at, you see a panther, you see a bunch of cats. And then you go up and you see more like animals and shit, and they shoot to Odysseus with his bow again, out there hunting. And he sees a deer, and he like flings his bow. The deer doesn't move, and it doesn't run off the beat of the bow. It just turns and sees that it's Odysseus, and it runs. Odysseus is running after it, and he's shooting his bow. And then you see it cuts to the guys going up the thing, and they see this lady, and she screams and she runs inside, and she runs inside, and she's terrified of these people, and they're like, no, we just want food, we haven't eaten in a while. And she's like, okay, if you want to come and eat, you gotta take your fucking armor off at the door. And which really is fucking retarded about these fucking guys, which didn't make fucking any sense to me, is the fact that you go out there, right? I would have told my mans right here, I would have been like, yo, bro, we gotta go. You didn't see a fucking armor on the floor? There's literally armor of previous people who came to this island on the fucking thing, and they just ignore it. So, you know what, bro? We're good. We're just gonna throw the fucking armor there. You know, if we need to kill her, we can kill her. Like, we don't gotta worry about it. And then she cooks, and the food looks fucking horrible. I don't know why they eat it, but once they start eating it, they can't stop eating it. It's almost like they're, you know, the enchantment, you know, it doesn't allow them to stop, and they start eating, and then she starts singing this song, and she grabs their faces, and she starts contorting them, and you see like fucking hair, some bro's hair get torn off, somebody get their fucking beard ripped, and you it's fucking disturbing, because she's over there like opening their mouths, and she's shaping them. And it's crazy that shit was practical, and then it turns out, you know, that they're turning them to pigs, and then they shoot back to Odysseus, and Odysseus shot, and he looks down and he sees that it's a man that he didn't kill. You know, he didn't kill a deer, he killed a man. And he turns around and he runs, and he's screaming for, you know, his boys. You know, Odysseus rides for his mans. You know, any other me, I would have said, fuck y'all, I didn't want to fucking listen to me, I'm getting back on that boat, and I'm getting the fuck up out of here. But no, he goes in there. He like, yo, bro, I know you took my mans. At first he plays dumb. He's like, damn, I came here. But you know what this is, bro. That's the one thing. They always get bro brains. He got a little bit of D's up here. Got a lot of D's up here. He uses it. If they don't fucking abandon the fact that he's that smart to come up with the Trojan horse, they keep that wit throughout the whole film. He don't be fucking dumb. Which I said at the beginning of my review of the fact that they don't shy away from what the characters are. They don't change the characters. They don't act different. They don't want to start acting weird like some other movies do. But you know, this is like, bro, can you change back my mans? And she's like explaining to her, like, and then he goes and he grabs this crow, which she turned her sister into, and he's like, if you don't, you know, change my mans back, I'm gonna kill your sister. At first he doesn't know it's his sister. He knows that it's important to her. So he's like, yo, if you don't turn my bros back, I'm gonna kill this fucking stupid ass crow. You know, Itachi's crow, Odin's crow. I'm gonna throw this motherfucker against the wall. I don't give a fuck. And she's like, okay, fine. And she starts crying, and, you know, she starts talking about the people of the sea, which Anne Hathaway, you know, character Penelope, tells Tom Holland's character that, hey, you know, the elders want me to, you know, get a new husband soon because these people from the sea are you know, they're coming to raid people and they're killing people. And she's like, you know, you gotta do it, you know, you gotta, you know, change back. Not change back. You gotta fucking, I gotta find a husband because the elders want me to get a husband, and I need a husband. So then we shoot. Then you know, he turns all his mans back, and I love the pigs before, you know, she changes them back. Before they get changed back, you know, the pigs are smacking at the door, you know, almost trying to indicate to Odysseus, don't go in there, and that makes him want to go in there because he's like, he knows there's something wrong, and you know, he gets all his mans back, and he asks her, you know, I forgot what he tells, but like. She tells him, I think she tells him that not all of his men can come back, and that he should go to hell, you know, to seek advice. And he goes there and he grabs his kettle, and she says the only way you can talk to these people is if you sacrifice his kettle. And he's like, all right, bet. So they sail all the way to hell, and they're on this beach, and they get off the beach, and you know, he goes and they all, you know, cut the throat of the sheep, and you know, these people, you know, show up. And at first it's fucking creepy because you see a bunch of soldiers, everybody's lying. This shot right here, actually, this shot of all these people right here on the beach is what is behind him. And he's like, what the fuck? And he's calling out to people, and the guy there, you know, says, you know, Sonon wants to talk to you. And he's like, okay, you know, Sonon's here. Yeah, he's like, yeah. Then he goes, and Sonon, you know, touches the blood and starts to ask, you know, Odysseus, why. And this is what we find out. We didn't know that Odysseus didn't tell Sonon shit. He wanted him to believe in the lie that the Trojan believed in, that there was a gift to Athena. And you even see, they even flash back to, you know, Matt Damon, Odysseus inside the Trojan horse, and he's, you know, feeling the guilt. You know, he's hearing Sonon get killed, and, you know, he hears the lie that he repeated to him to say, and he says it, and the anger that you feel from Elliot Page in this moment, like, why didn't you tell me? Like, why did you lie to me? Like, why, you know, we did all these horrible things, and I died, and you didn't even, like, care. And, you know, Sonon says, like, when you get back, you know, give this to Robert Pattinson's character, the black thing that he kept on him. And Odysseus takes it, puts it in his, well, he at first, before he even dies, he asks him for it, and he has it in his hand. And then he asks him to show if he still has it, and he has it with him. And then Odysseus asks him, who the fuck are all these people? And he's like, these are all your soldiers. All these people are from your battalion. These are all people, and I'm pretty sure these are all people who just died, like two scenes ago. Like, all the mans, you know, the people that got murdered by the fucking Cyclops and murdered by those fucking giants are just sitting there, probably all of them back behind him. And, you know, Sonon goes, you know, Agamemnon wants to talk to you, and, you know, Odysseus is surprised. It's like, Agamemnon's here, and you see this fucking, and this time it's all black. You see he got fucking this black tar kind of thing on his face, and he like and all of them slide, which is cool as fuck. You know, they just levitate and they slide, and, you know, he goes, Odysseus, and Odysseus kneels to him, which that's how much fucking aura bro had. Odysseus is still kneeling to that bro. And he's kneeling, and he's like, yo, what happened? And Agamemnon was like, yo, bro, don't expect a good welcome when you come back. Cause I got slimed out by my bitch and her stupid ass, you know, baby, you know, her side nigga. Both of them niggas murdered my ass. Like, don't expect, because what happened was like Agamemnon, you know, takes the trade route back. And before he left, like I said earlier, he sacrificed his daughter to Athena, and his wife, who's Athena's, not Athena, Helen's twin, got tight that he killed the bitch. You know, no, not the bitch, but killed his daughter, her daughter, you know, their daughter. And he's like, fuck, why the fuck? And then she's like, she been plotting that shit since he left. And once he gets there, you know, he gets showered and bathed, and bro's having a fucking fantastic time, like he on vacation. You know, they take the armor off. I know that shit probably felt good after fucking 8 years in that fucking big ass armor all the time, finally getting all that shit off. You know, he gets bathed, he gets fed, and right when he about to smash his bitch, she stabs that nigga in his fucking throat, which is fucked up. Shouldn't do that. And he's like, you know, go back, you know, scout, assess And that's one of the most, like I said earlier, is one of the most important things anyone said to Odysseus is when you come back, don't expect a warm welcome because you don't know what you left behind is the same place. You know, you don't know if you wronged somebody and they've been plotting on you since they came back, and which Agamemnon was right. You know, a lot of people were, you know, wanting to smash, you know, Odysseus' bitch when he left. They instantly was in that bitch, you know, trying to tear her shit apart, which I get it. Like, me, I would just say Hathaway, bro. Like, Hathaway, bro. So they're all like, yo, bro, well, fuck this bitch. Don't go back. You know, thinking you're gonna get a warm welcome. And then, Agamemnon leaves. This little, he's not a little person, he's this guy who's in there. He has like a thing, he has like a face scarred on, you know, that goes up to his eyes, and he's like, it's really cool because he's on the ground and he's talking to Odysseus, and he's like telling him, you know, what to do next. And Odysseus, he tells Odysseus, you have to go past the sirens, you know, to get to Apollo's island. You know, you got to get there, and then from there, you know, don't eat his cattle, and you'll be able to go home after that. Odysseus is like, word, but he tells him, by the way, 8 of your mans is gonna die. I don't even know if that's the right number, but he says some of your mans is gonna die, you know, on that voyage back. That some of your mans is gonna get killed. And he's like, word. And then I forgot how he finds out that at some point, like, that all his mans are gonna die. No, that's because they eat the cattle. We'll get there. So he says some of your mans are gonna die, you know, getting there, but if they eat the cattle, they're all gonna die. So this is like, word. You won't eat bro's cattle. We'll eat bro cattle. Right? So then they go. They have these 2 roads. You know, everybody's seen the route of the whirlpool, and then the route of this monster that lives in this hole. Right, lives in this fucking hole, and they're in the hole, you know, they're going around, and they start not to listen to Odysseus. They're like, yo, what did he tell you? And Odysseus don't want to tell them. He's like, I can't tell you, because that's another thing. He tells Odysseus that you can't tell them, you know, and he also tells him you can't save them all. And that's another thing that Odysseus is trying to deny the gods. You know, he knows, he just got told by somebody that some of your man's got to get fucking murdered for you to get back home. And for some reason, Odysseus is like, yeah, fuck you. Which is a lot of big theme of the whole movie. It's like Odysseus is just, he don't care about what the gods gotta say. He ain't hearing none of that shit. You're like, bro, I'm bringing my boys back, and that's what the fuck I'm gonna do. And he doesn't tell them anything, and they don't listen to him. They go the other way. Some of his mans get murdered because he's like, the guy tells him, you gotta go this way. You can't go towards the whirlpool. You have to go that way. You know, some of your mans have to die before you get past the part. And he's like, yo, we can go around the whirlpool and get the fuck up out of here. And his man's is like, nah, we should go. The second in command's like, nah, we should go that way. It's no easier to cut that way. He's like, nah, take the whirlpool. We go through the whirlpool. We'll get through this part. They don't. They get fucked. They have to go the opposite way. And then they get someone get fucking murdered. And that's when they realize, oh fuck, like, he's like, yeah, like I knew that some of y'all were gonna die, and I've been trying to keep y'all alive. Or is that after? I think that might be after the sirens, which is my favorite part. It's my favorite scene of the whole fucking movie. It's it's my favorite scene. It's the scene that's still sticking with. We're going through, this is like, we're going towards the sirens. Put me on the thing and don't let me free. Even if I ask you to, to let me free, don't do it. I just want to hear the song of the sirens. And the reason why he does that, because I forgot why. There's a reason. Like, he knows that, some of his man's gonna die, and some of them are gonna hear the song Fleet into Temptation, and some of them are gonna die. So he's like, nah, fuck that. Put fucking wax in your ears, and I'll hear this song. Because I think to him, and what I'm pretty sure in the book is that he's not supposed to tell his mans about the sirens, but he does, and he tells them about the wax. Put the wax in your ear, and the reason why he has himself listen to it is so like, oh, fuck. Why does he? But it's my favorite part of the movie. So I'm pretty sure there's a fucking explanation. I just forget the explanation. So they're going through, and bro, and I love the sound starts to defecate, and they put the wax in the ear, and then the music kind of like cuts off, and he's screaming, and Matt Damon did a fucking phenomenal job, bro. But then you see some of the, you don't hear the song, but you see the sirens, bro. And shout out Sean C. He made a good ass point. Like, you've been on a fleet with a bunch of cock and balls, niggas who smell like shit. You haven't eaten in a while. You just got done fighting a fucking Trojan War. This man Odyssey is tripping. He keep bringing us to fucking islands, getting us fucking murdered. I just saw my mans get murdered by some fucking monster that came out the shit, killed my man, took him, disappeared his ass, and I gotta act like shit's normal. And then I see some bad bitches, and Odysseus trying to tell me I can't go towards the bad bitches. Bad bitches I ain't seen in years. I haven't seen a bitch in years. I've been fighting. And then Chris' cousin decides, yeah, I want some bad bitches. And he takes his fucking wax off. And you see, I ain't gonna lie, you see the sirens, and they kind of bad. But he takes them off, and he goes in the water, and he swims after it. And then you hear Odysseus describe the song. And I wonder if somebody wrote it here. Somebody probably did write it in the comments. He said, hold on, let me see if I can find it. How does Odyssey describe? He says all things you want it to be, and an unbearable, delicious itch under the skin that cannot be reached. And he tells, and the sirens are basically, telling him all his biggest failures. And this is the moment I think this is the moment where Odysseus realizes what the fuck he did. Probably during the moment of him walking through Troy was a part of him realizing it, but I feel like this was also like a hard indicator on him to be like, I fucked up in a different way. I think the sirens are telling him about the way he destroyed civilization, how he's going to be the cause of the murder of more future people to come. And if you really think about it, Zeus's law and wars have been broken from now on. If you really think about the way some wars even end and start, and the griminess, like even from the Trojan, the way some people, attack each other, kill each other. If you know about the Revolutionary War, we killed people during fucking Christmas time, which is the Lord's Day. That's a part of, and I really think fucking Nolan took that and took the idea of the Trojan horse and really fucking made it dark in the way that people should look at it. These are just people who were sleeping, probably minding their fucking business, thinking they're gonna wake up in the morning and have won a war, and peace is gonna come, to waking up and getting fucking murdered and watching all the people that they love and care about just getting fucking slaughtered. And you're like, damn. like damn is not even a word, bro. Like, damn, I didn't even see this thing get typed in my chat. My bad. But you see the murder and the chaos, and you realize in that moment of the Song of the Sirens of what Odysseus did. He broke civilization. He broke the because some people used to fight in a way where, you take my castle and you get a sword. They warn each other, hey, by the way, I'm coming to fight you. And this wasn't that. This was completely the opposite. We're gonna pull up to your crib and murder your mans, all your mans, your daughter, your mama, and then we're gonna do some things to them, which is fucking horrible, bro. And it's a great take. And that's moment is incredible. The way that the music slows, and Odysseus describes, as a delicious itch, and then the big moment where people, I hope people really listen to it, is when he says that the sirens told him that he really doesn't want to go home. And the reason why he doesn't want to go home is because of the failures that he feels that he made. That he knows that he fucked up and he destroyed things, and he's not, he doesn't think he's gonna get a warm welcome, or he thinks two things. People are gonna give him probably a warm welcome, even though he feels like he just murdered a bunch of people, or he's going to get a welcome of hatred, and those two things, coincide with each other. And him wanting to see Penelope, and him being too ashamed to go back home, and it really like sticks with you. It really it feels like when Afghani soldiers and Vietnam soldiers came back from doing their routes over there, doing their time, because they really were fighting something for nothing. And that's what I think Nolan took a lot from. And I think a lot of soldiers and Vietnam soldiers and soldiers in general who went to war for little things are gonna look back at, because if you really think about it, World War II was the last war that was fought over something good. Afghani war was fought because of things that happened in the Afghani getting mad, and but we started that. A lot of things people don't really tell you, and that happened in real history, is we caused them to be that angry. We were in a country that people didn't want us in, and when people don't want you in their country, there's resentment that builds, and it builds, and it builds, and it happens, and that war was fought for nothing. And I feel like that is the way Odysseus feels, is, damn, we fought over nothing. I caused this horrible thing, and it was for nothing. So then we shoot to, where are we at? We shoot to, after song. They go to the place with the cattle, but they also shoot to them showing him us like what happened with Tom Holland's character. He finally gets back. He learned more about his father. They do this really horrible moment where Robin Pattinson's character is a piece of shit, where he picks up Odysseus' dog. They're kicking Odysseus' dog, being mean to Odysseus' dog, like fucking, and then they put him outside, and they leave him out there, and they tell the servant that was really loyal to Odysseus to sit outside. And shout out Andrew Schultz. He really bring up a good point of like those were the showing of civilization falling apart. The Ithaca falling apart was portrayed from these two characters, because they were there when Ithaca was during its glory days. They still hold up the same traditions, and they're just shitted on and treated horribly, and they're the last like two pillars of Ithaca. And I also skip over the fact that they try to assassinate Tom Holland's character, but they don't. They fuck up. Another part that I missed is Robert Pattinson's character tells Penelope, who's Anne Hathaway's character, like, hey, I know you've been, because she's always been saying that when she's done weaving this thing that she was going to, marry, and he's like, I know you haven't been. And then the reason why he finds that out is because the peasant bitch that she's with, exposes her and tells, her, hey, by the way, she's been out and weaving that motherfucker for a long time. And he's like, word. And, he doesn't really like Penelope. He likes this other bitch, but I don't even think he likes that bitch either. I think he just likes her so he can get information. And they go to Apollo's island, and Odysseus tells them, yo, bro, don't touch the fucking cattle. If you touch the fucking cattle, you're all gonna fucking die. So just avoid the fucking cattle. And then he goes over, and they're having a fucking Christmas / Thanksgiving / fucking dinner with the fucking sheep. And Odysseus is like, word, now you're all fucking dead, and I don't give a fuck. And then he starts walking, and then the sun comes out, because they couldn't leave at first because of this storm that was going on. But Odysseus said, don't eat the fucking cattle, let's sit through the storm, we'll be alright. It did look like they were there for a while, but they go and eat their fucking cattle, and Odysseus is tight. And then the sun gets up, and they're like, yo, let's fucking dip. And then they're like, they're on the boat, and Christopher Nolan almost caused me to have a fucking seizure. Thank you, Mr. Nolan. I really fucking appreciate it. You made my brain almost leak out of my skull. And they're going through it with the bow. They're getting fucking fucked in the ass with fucking typhoons. Poseidon is laying down his cock. It's Zeus and Poseidon working their fucking magic, whipping that boy ass, just giving backies to their ship. And then Poseidon and Zeus is like, there go one more for y'all. Boom! And just fucking destroys the whole ship. Odysseus is second in command, who was his main mans, who asked him, about the Song of Silence. He's like, damn, he's watching his mans get fucking carried off, and, he's dead. And he winds up on this bad bitch's fucking island. And she nurses him back to health. And throughout this whole story, he's being asked about, he sees Athena, and Athena is Zendaya's character, and Zendaya's character is, talking to him, asking him what he remembers. And then the bitch that he with, I forgot her name, she doesn't want him to go back, so she keeps giving him lotus flower for him to forget, but then she starts cutting back on the lotus flower. And allowing him to remember his memories, and he keeps asking her where his man is, who he was, where's his wife, and does he have a kid, and then she says that he always calls out to a name, and he's always holding this thing, and it's the same thing that Penelope gave to him before he left, and he's like, okay. He starts to remember, starts to put shit together. He's like, okay, like a man's in here, and then he asks her how long he's been here, and she says 8 years, and he's like, what the fuck? I gotta go home. Like it's about time I leave, and um you know he's been building this ship, and he doesn't know why he's building this ship. His body is just telling him to, and he's building this ship, and he's ready to go, and she tells him, hey, you just gotta like because the whole theme, like I've been talking about, is Odysseus not allowing himself to submit himself to the gods. And she's like, in order for you to get back home, you have to submit yourself to the gods. And he's like, bet, and he just sits there and he just watches his wrath to get fucking destroyed. She says that Zeus is not gonna allow Poseidon to kill you, but you have to allow him to whip your ass a little bit. And he's like, you know what, whatever gets me fucking home, I don't give a fuck. And he just gets fucked in the butt with these fucking storms, and he washes back up on Ithaca. His blind man finds him, and his blind man's got his ass whipped because they send Robert Pattinson's character send an assassin to kill Tom, and Odysseus dresses up as a beggar now, which is like full circle. He goes from fucking king to now he has to start from the bottom, and then he listens to fucking what Agamemnon says, assess, see who his, who's on his side, and he pieces all his mans together. They go over there, he goes there, he helps, Tom Holland's character from getting assassinated, the guy that's playing fucking Kratos gets killed, which was a little sad because it was Tom Holland's man, the guy that trained him and shit. He was like helping him out and shit, and he was a warrior of himself, and he gets killed, and he's like, damn, what the fuck? And then he's like, he looks at Matt Damon's kid, Odysseus. He's like, hold on, you might be my dad. And he's like, nah, I'm another person. And then but he tells Tom Holland, your daddy coming home soon, little nigga. He remembered the milk. He finally found the milk jug, and now he's coming back home, bro. So just give him some time. And Tom Holland, almost starts crying. He's like, okay, bet. Gets back home, tells his mom everything he heard about. His mom finally decides, okay, bet. Fuck it, I'm gonna finally choose who my husband is. It's been too long. And Robert Pattinson's character, wanted to do it, wanted to kill him there, but then, he got interrupted by Penelope saying, fuck it, finally we'll decide. Everybody's welcome. The only way you just, you become a husband is if you, shoot this arrow and it goes through all these things, because that's the same thing that Odysseus did as a party trick, that he would line up all these axes and shoot the hole through the axes with the bow. And he's like, okay, bet. So Odysseus pulls up because he knows he can do it. And everybody's like trying to test it, and they're like, it's impossible. And then Odysseus goes, I can do it. And they all laugh at him. But no, at first there's the feast. Sorry, I'm jumping a little too fast. They jump to the feast. And Rob Pattinson's character is being a fucking asshole. He's not giving Odysseus food, and he's like, oh, well, you should give, a beggar food, you're eating some of his food, like, you should give me some of the food. And he's like, nah, fuck you, die, bitch. And he's like, I bet, that's one man to get him out, that's one nigga to, get that boy out of here. And he's like, I bet, and then, the guy trips him, and then he's like, oh, what's your name anyway? And he goes, Sonon. And then he goes, huh? He tries to act like he doesn't know who Sonon is. And then he pulls out the thing that, when they get drafted, that he kept. And Rob Pattinson, recognizes it. And then, I forgot his name, but the dude, remembers, hey, Sonon, the farmer's boy. And he goes, yeah. And then he goes, I'll make you remember, soon. And he goes, is that a threat? He's like, no. And then he keeps walking. Why would you be scared of a beggar? I think he says, and then he keeps walking, and then it's the next scene where they're all trying to, test the bow. They all can get with the bow. So this is like, yeah, none of y'all niggas is like me. I'm him. Give me the fucking bow. Bro shoots the bow and arrow straight through, bangs it like fucking laser adapt. Boom, bangs that bitch. All the fucking, shooters some of the shooters, what's his name locks the doors, Tom Holland character locks the doors. And, when he finally, no, sorry, I jumped too fast. Another scene that was so fucking good. This is also one of my favorite scenes of when, Tom Holland meets his dad. And I jumped too fast about the dog. He comes in and he sees the dog, pets the dog, and the dog, lifts his tail. The dog dies, and Tom Holland character goes, "You're my dad," and he's like, "No, I'm not your dad. I'm just I'm just a beggar." And then, Penelope calls him over to talk to him, and he's like, "Do you know what happened to Odysseus?" And then he just breaks down it. Then we go back to we're back to Troy, and we're watching Odysseus after the moment that they finally break through the gates of Troy. We're cut off when John Bernthal was talking. It picks back up, and you just see this scene, which I thought was fucking amazing. And they don't show, Odysseus is not out there murdering people. He's, I think those are the moments where he's watching and he's seeing the slaughter and he's seeing things differently in this moment. And it's like, fuck, like he starts to think, like, what if this was us? Like, what if somebody did this to us? Like we broke Zeus's law. Zeus's law is, respect everybody. Treat people how you want to be treated, and this is definitely not the way we want to be fucking treated, because imagine waking up and you're getting fucking murdered by some fucking people in armor with a sword, and like fuck, and it's dark and you're watching people fucking scream next to you and it's burning and everything. And imagine that's you. And he's trying to imagine it, he's walking through and he's watching, the building explode and it fall down. And he watches it burn and fall, because there's no explosion at the time, but he watches it fall, and then he turns, and then he sees the head of Athena get cut off, and that's the same moment that Zendaya's character gets her head cut off. And then we finally turn, and then we find out that Zendaya's character was the same girl that he watched get beheaded. And it's just this PTSD that's just ripping through his brain, and it's fucking with him. And I think it's I think it's the gods and PTSD at the same time. Some people don't think, that he's picturing all these things, but I think the gods in this story are real, because, there's the fucking Cyclops, there's fucking giants, there's fucking hell. Like, you watch all these people, and at the beginning of the movie, it says, he says that mythical things are real in this world, so we automatically assume that the gods are real. But I think it's PTSD and, the gods at the same time. And, he tells Penelope, what if, the man that you loved lost his way, and, he realized all the evil things that he's done, and that he's scared about coming back home. And he hears this music again, the same music that was playing when, he during the siren part, he rehears it when he sees Penelope for the first time. And that's confirmation of, like, the thing that he most desired, to thing that he wanted to come back to so much, and was Penelope. And then we, like I was saying earlier, they shoot back, and he shoots through the thing. He shows that, he's Odysseus. At first, he flicks the beam of the bow a little bit. Robert Pattinson's character, knows what that means, turns around and tries to run, just like he did with the hunting scene. And, just a fucking slaughter. We just see the skills of the man go to work. We see the man whip ass, put BTA to everybody, beat everybody ass. Nobody standing, toe to toe with bro. Beats everybody. Rob Pattinson's character is like screaming, like, yo, kill that nigga. And he's like, nah, he's just fucking murdering everybody. Then you see Tom Holland up there. He's trying to stop the guy because the guy's like pushing swords down, and he goes up there, and that's the first body that Tom Holland character catches. And Odysseus kills all these people, and then he kills Robert Pattinson's character, and he grabs the same thing that Sonon was drafted with, and he stabs Robert right in his neck, I think in his neck, right? He kills him, and then he rolls down, and then he falls on the floor because he's fucking probably bleeding a ton. And he has this conversation with Penelope, the same conversation that they had before he left. The sunrise will go, and he repeats the same. That's the part that made me cry. I'm not gonna lie. I was fucking oof. That moment had your boy crying. But then, fades, you think he's dead, and then at the end of the movie you see him leaving, and he leaves off because he knows that he can't stay there because he just killed a bunch of these suitors. These are people who have families, and they're gonna want answers, and he just leaves. He kills them, and then he dips. That's how plot fucking hole. How the fuck were they just allowed to just leave like that? But bro murders everybody and just like, hey, deuces. But and then the movie ends, and I remember looking at Chris, and we both looked at each other, and we're like, yo, that was fucking amazing. And then we went to a bar and got shit-faced.